I'm Sid, and these are my best friends. My mom, Kim, my dad, Ty, my sister, Maddie, and our salty dog, Stella. We started our adventure refitting a Lagoon 450 before taking on the massive project of resurrecting a sunken 2021 Leopard 50. It's been one heck of a ride, but we're on this adventure to die with memories, not dreams, and live dauntless.
Hey guys, we're super excited about this week's video. We're going to be tearing out the port forward cabin and starting on the utility room, so let's get into it.
This is not the utility room. What are you doing?
Cleaning up my mess. I was sitting down here wiring like like a scene in The Grinch, throwing shit everywhere. And I've decided, well, we have to move stuff out of the the future utility room so we can blow it apart and demo it. So I'm gonna get all my crap out of here so that there's even floor space or clear floor space for us to move all of that stuff into here, and then we're gonna break stuff today. I'm really excited. So I want to tear it all out, and if I'm lucky, we'll actually have a new floor, floor supports put in that room by the end of the day. So, wish us luck.
Can I break something?
No.
Why not?
You don't get to break stuff unless you can fix it.
Madison wants to break
But
stuff.
part of demo is breaking stuff, and I want to break stuff.
We'll see if there's anything that you can be part of the demo process.
If I could just swing the sledgehammer once.
Well,
I don't think
there's
we're
no
using a sledgehammer.
Okay, then I just want to cut one thing.
We'll see. There's a chance. There's a chance. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm a bad filmer.
You're a bad filmer.
Because I did not film you moving any of that stuff out of here. But
I'm gonna take this out of here.
oh, hold on.
All right. So
What do we got in here?
So we have a cabin that's intact, except for all of this, of course, paint that was painted on all these steps just completely blew out as soon as it got covered in salt water. The inside panels, all this suede material looks actually fabulous, so we're going to keep that. The reason they're off right now is just so that we can access and get mechanical stuff back in the wall behind it. So to give you guys an idea, this is always a work in progress, but what I want to do is do a version of...
The girls are power washing up top, so...
Get off my hatch! I feel like a troll. Get off my hatch! Thank you! Alright, so... This... Oh my gracious. Okay, so this boat comes in a 4 or 5 cabin model. The 4-quart... Okay. The 4 cabin model is the owner's version. So the starboard hull, 2/3 of it is actually the owner's cabin, which is very cool. This is the boat that we have. The starboard forward is a VIP, and then there's 2 cabins on the port side. The traditional 4-cabin, 4-head boat. Now, you can get this boat as an option with a utility room, and that's so the utility room is the port forward space, and normally what will happen is the washer dryer combo is in the hallway between the 2 cabins on the port side, and then here they reduce the size of this cabinet and they put a dryer here, so you can have a washer and a dryer. We're going to talk about later where we're going to put our washer dryer, but it's not going to be in here. This is version 2.0. If you guys have seen a video when we did our utility room on our 45, we actually put the washer dryer in the port forward head.
No, on the port forward bulkhead, not the head.
Yeah, sorry.
Head.
The port forward crash locker bulkhead. We're doing some weight balance in this boat, and because we're going to be adding a lot of weight in this room with tools and what have you, I don't want to put any of that in here, so we're going to move that back into the port forward head, and we'll talk about that in another episode. But for now, what I want to do is I want to get this entire bed module taken out of here. If you order this from the factory, what ends up happening is this fiberglass that you see here, and you see on the outboard side, is pretty cool. What it actually is a module that they drop in the boat before they put the lid on it to make this a cabin. It's a different fiberglass module if you get a utility room. So we have to make our cabin a utility room. So unfortunately I've got to get out the Sawzall and the fine, and I've got to cut a big hole in Kim's boat. The bed's coming out. I'll cut the fiberglass along the wall, as you see, all the way to here. And I'm going to remove this, the drawers. These vertical sections on either side are going to be cut and freed from this fiberglass. And that is going to give us our opening for our new utility room. Now that utility room is going to have a shallow, I'm guessing, is going to have a shallow counter here. And then about a 30-inch deep counter on this outboard wall, which will go forward. And the counter will slowly taper, just like they did in our other boat. There will be a counter up front, so basically there's going to be 2 work surfaces and drawers and storage underneath. To be honest with you, I don't know exactly what's going to be underneath of here, so we're going to kind of have to shoot from the hip, and as we go, we're going to, we'll discover together. But now we've moved everything out, and I'm just getting ready to blow stuff apart.
We have to do this because we have to have a place to put all of our tools.
Yeah.
So that we can get to other projects.
Kim's got a good point. So right now, as we're moving throughout the boat, we're moving tools from space to space. Hey, where's that screwdriver? Where'd you put the impact? And we're constantly chasing ourselves, trying to figure out where we're putting things, or where, to be honest, where Ty's putting things. So we decided to rip off the Band-Aid. We're going to get this space finished and worked out and get drawers in, put all of our tools away, and this will be our ground station for all of that equipment that we need to remodel the rest of the boat. But there you go. This is where the water maker used to be. Well, part of it still is. The control module I just threw away sat here over top of this opening. Now we cut this opening so we could get down in on this side to be able to tab in the repair part.
That's where Sydney got stuck.
Yeah, if you remember Sydney, well, you guys didn't see her with the snot coming out of her nose, but where she got stuck when we were making all the noise and her claustrophobic, which a lot of people are, this is the point of her trauma. So I'm going to try to remove it so we can erase the memory. But yeah, so this basically just going to get cut with the utility knife. I'm just going to start unbolting and tearing stuff out. And unfortunately, have to get in here with some sort of a blade and make some fiberglass dust to get all this out of here. But by the end of the day, I think it's not going to be a cabin anymore. Alright, so what they've done, if you can see this panel right here and this here, it's got this foil on top of it that I just poured water on. This is a not temperature, I apologize. This is a sound deadening material, and they put it around this water maker, probably because it's loud. So what I'm going to try to do is, I'm not going to salvage it, but I may try to do the same thing down in the floor space where we're going to put our water maker, because water makers can be noisy, but I'm not trying to salvage any foam that was in the boat before, because that's just ew.
Oh my gosh.
What do you think of that?
It's all coming together.
But first it's all coming apart. All right, I'm gonna take you down and take you over here with me so I can kind of give you a detailed look of what I'm gonna cut out and what my tentative plan is. Different than what I thought it was gonna be before, but you know, like I said, it's a work in progress. Okay, all right. Okay guys, so obviously bed, drawers, stair. And what I want to do is I need to figure out how to blend these two surfaces together. And unfortunately, this is just a little bit higher than this. So either I'm going to leave a short band and create a channel that kind of looks like this. So maybe I'll come here, make a turn, go this way, and then recess this, sand this edge down here, and have a caulking joint on the other side. Or I may remove this altogether, but I need to see what's underneath of here, and have just the new floor come right to here. But for now, I'm going to take and cut down here, around. I'm going to cut over, kind of where this old dresser base was, or drawer base was, around here, up here, all the way along this corner seam, all the way around to here and back down. That should open up the space a whole lot. That'll still give me a little bit of space to work with over here, and to decide how exactly I'm going to tie the floor in from here and here. And I'll probably try to cut this up in 2 or 3 pieces so that we can get it out. All right. So, safety glasses, earplugs. Wish me luck. Oh, demo tip. From personal experience. It's always better to, if you can, produce the least amount of dust and create the biggest chunks or chips so you're not inhaling them or breathing them. And also, especially when it comes to fiberglass, so you're not getting it in your skin. So I like to use a Sawzall blade that takes big chunks out at a time if I'm not worried about the finish around it. I just realized I'm probably talking really loud because I've got earplugs in. But I could do this with a fine, but that almost pulverizes it, makes it a really, really fine dust. And I know I'll itch when I do that, so I only will use that for detail work when necessary.
All right, it's a new day. What are you doing?
It is a new day. So, what I've done is I need to figure out how to transfer this floor height across the entire room, so then I can subtract down to the subfloor joist system that I'm going to do. And my other laser level has this auto fancy gyroscope to it, so if you put it down, it levels to itself. Well, a boat's never level. It floats and it moves, so it's really hard to do cabinetry in a boat when the boat isn't straight. It's not like a house where you can just put a level on the ground, right? And the concrete is level and it is what it is. So I had to buy the dumbest tool possible, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way. It just has to be the simplest tool that all it does is have, well, basically a laser. And this will have a fixed laser angle based on where the block is, or where the actual body of the laser is. So I nipped off the corner right here just to make sure that it's completely smooth. I have measured that it is 90 degrees to the to the base of it. So I lay this here, and I can then, I don't know if you can see that on the camera.
I'm gonna try and zoom in and see if I can see it.
You see it like this?
Hold on, zooming in. Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm marking all the way around. So I've put this straight ruler here just to verify that all of these surfaces are the same height. This is a little bit different because it's an access panel, so if you watch, there's a little bit of a gap underneath of it. But here and here are all the same. So it's completely level.
Where this solid
for the solid surface.
Is.
And I'm just trying to transfer this plane across the floor into here. Now I've determined that I'm gonna use a 3/4 inch material like they've done down in here. I'm gonna have a 3/4 inch subfloor, and then a 1/2 inch finished floor that goes on top of that. That's how they build this boat. They actually build a layer of plywood, put a bunch of daubs of Sika, and then put the secondary floor, the finished floor on top of it. I think that helps with squeaking and what have you, so it isolates the structure to the actual finished part you're walking on. It's kind of a cool concept, actually. But I know that the subfloor is going to be 3/4 of an inch thick, and then I need an 1/8 of an inch gap, and then I need a 1/2 an inch on top of that for the actual finished ply. Plus, this laser is 1 inch and 1/8 up above the floor. So if I add all that stuff up, I'm not counting the thickness of the laminate because it's gonna work in there. We basically need to drop 2.5 inches. So I got my tape measure, I have my laser, and what I've done here is I've already worked down this side, and now I'm taking and putting the laser at 2.5 inches, and then I can just put a little mark underneath, because I'm not right-handed. So I'm extending this all the way around. And when I move, so anyway, enough of watching me do that. I'm going to do that all the way around, and then that will be, again, the height of the floor joists that I'm going to put in, which are going to be laminated 3/4 inch sheets of ply. And then to determine where I'm going to use the floor space access, that will determine where they go. So for example, if I'm going to have this as an access point, I will put a joist here, and then if I have another access level here, I'll put another joist here. So that'll allow my access panels to not be inhibited when I go down into the bilge. So I've got to determine now, well, what this counter is going to look like, and where the drawers are going to be, and how far this cabinet's going to come out. So I'll basically extrapolate all that out, and here in a few minutes, you'll see what that looks like. Then once all the joists and everything is done, I'm going to glass everything into the walls, or to the hulls, and then once that's done, I'll get everything sanded, prep everything. I'll sand the space where we did the repair, just to feather that out, a little bit of fairing, and then I'm going to re-gel this entire space with brand new white gel coat to make it look pretty like the rest of the boat. Yeah, so I'm super excited. We're going to see lots of cool stuff today.
All the way across that short.
Done.
We need to make joists for the floor, so we are cutting down these planks and then cutting the ends at an angle to follow the hull. Then we test fit the pieces before gluing and screwing 2 boards together for each joist.
Stella approves. For all of you that want to see more of Stella, she's always... Can you be quiet? I'm trying to talk about the dog. She's always here with us.
Supervising.
We tacked the joists in with a dab of super glue so that we could move them around if necessary, but they wouldn't fall out of position if they were bumped.
What do you think, Kim? Are you happy? Does it look like you got a floor coming in?
It looks closer.
It looks closer. Not quite there yet. Alright, so the one that goes against the wall, I've got to the right length. There's a cove built in to the wall. So what I need to do is take my imagination, because I don't have a marker, and I'm going to basically knock off a corner on the back side, so I cove the back end, and I'm just going to put a radius on the back side here so that it fits all the way up against the wall. Alright, so what I've done is I put this radius on the bottom here. I don't know if you can see that. And that, excuse the Blair Witch, that's because right down here in the corner, I want that to fit right down. Maybe this side's easier to see. I want that to fit right down here so that it matches this radius of this corner right here. Now there is a bit of a gap on the back side right here, and I'm going to fill that with this caulking. So I'm going to lay a ton of caulking on the back of this. I want a nice big heavy bead, and then I'm just going to tack it with super glue on the corners. And then that should basically hold it in place while this Sika cures. Then I'm going to go outside, I'm going to mix up some thickened epoxy, and I'm going to epoxy around all of these so they're nice and set for tomorrow for me to come in and glass everything in and start building the cross members.
And this is just creating the nice easy cove for the fiberglass to be laid between the hull and the floorboard supports.
And although that there's plenty of adhesion capability with the epoxy, the thickened epoxy, the problem is that it can be brittle. So you need the strength of the fiberglass to be able to make sure you get a really, really good bond. And it's strong and flexible if necessary. So can you see those? Those look pretty good. I think those will pass.
Today we are making floors for down in the bilge by reinforcing the ply with cross supports and fiberglass before gel coating them and the bilge space for a nice clean finish. Now we need to make the top floor for the utility room. This is the same process we used when we made the floor panels. If you haven't seen that video, it'll be linked down below.
Okay, so Ty did the floor piece and we laid the vinyl, laminate on top and got it all glued down. We brought the piece back here to the boat so that we could test fit it and make sure that it's all good before we glue it down. And there's one little itty bitty problem. What's the problem?
It's a little too long.
Better too long than too short.
And I just need to take off such a tiny amount, and I'm not going to haul it all the way back out of here to do it, so I'm just going to trim it right here where it sits.
Ah, perfect.
Now we can test fit the top floor and tap it into place and then mark where the floor will be. Then we lifted the top floor and cut out where the floor access panels will be out of the subfloor. Then we laid down a nice thick bead of Bostik marine adhesive to glue down the top floor. Lastly, we are trial fitting the access panels and now we can admire our work.
Look at that, holy cow, it's so nice.
Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe.
Way to go. I love it.
And of course, a huge thank you to our patrons. We'll see you next week.